Good morning. Welcome to Interfaith Spiritual Center Worldwide. What we know is that nothing happens by chance, that everything is by divine appointment. If you tuned in at this moment, this message is for you. This is about really having the faith of that grain of mustard seed that Jesus, who became the Christ, talked about. If you have the faith as a grain of mustard seed, and you say to this mountain, this challenge, this situation, remove, it does. Because with God, all things are possible. And the following verse is, but with man, they are impossible. Because God is the infinite. We will never, ever contract the infinite. However, we expand our finite energy and intelligence to keep embodying a more spiritual way of life. So when we step out on faith, a bridge appears, is our topic this morning. And I love this topic. And I remember the film, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusades. And I remember they were after the Holy Grail, and that Harrison Ford was the son and Sean Connery was the father. And they were archaeologists, and they were looking for the Holy Grail. Now, we know that the Holy Grail is within each and every one of us. And that as we quicken that energy, we expand. But the movie was absolutely great and so provocative and a universal truth, because when he came to the end, there's just like a huge mountain and there's nothing else to step out on. And as he refers to the parchment, if you recall, it says, step out, even though it looks like you're going to tumble down thousands of feet to infinity. However, when he stepped out on faith, a bridge appeared, and he moved closer to the Holy Grail. Now, what I know is that he could be standing there forever if he had not stepped out. When we step out on faith, and remember, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. The substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things unseen. Because there is another dimension beyond this dimension. And I believe in the mystical element of life and metaphysics, which I feel we really don't discuss enough in religious science or science of mind churches and centers. But there is that mystic element. Be still and know that I am God. That I am a co-creator with the energy of the universe. And that as I have this faith as a grain of mustard seed, and believe me, I've given out thousands of little mustard seeds and little jewel cases. And people will open it up and go, oh, this is a sweet little, beautiful little jewel box. And I said, well, there is something in it. And they look again, and finally, they see the little grain of mustard seed. It's barely visible to the human eye, but if I have that much faith, I step out knowing a bridge appears, whatever confronts me at any given moment, that if I step out on faith, the universe responds. This is a cause and effect relationship. This is one of the things I love about our way of life as well, is that there is a ground of being, and that beyond every cause and mind, there is an effect. So when we are lifting our energy field to a higher octave, that's what appears. And in the Tarot, the very highest card is the Fool, the Divine Fool. And if you're familiar with the Tarot, and you can also look it up online, he is stepping out, and he's on a ledge, and it appears that nothing is there in front of him. And that this is the highest card in the Tarot deck, because he is stepping out on faith. He's got his little knapsack. He's got his little white dog at his foot. You know, and of course, dogs always represent loyalty. So he's got everything together within him with this knowingness that if he steps out, having the faith that knowing that something solid will appear underneath him, or he will be taught to fly. Come to the edge, he said. And they said, we're afraid. Come to the edge, he said. And they said, we might fall. Come to the edge, he said. And they said, oh dear, come to the edge, he said. And they came, and he pushed them, and they flew. When we get that divine nudge, that divine push, we do fly because we have it within us to co-create with the Creator intelligence. And I've had people say to me, oh, you think you're God? And I said, it's blasphemous to think I'm not. I am created in the image and likeness of God. God is the Creator intelligence. He said that we were created in this image and likeness, and that was not only good, but it was what? Very good, right? So co-creators with the energy of the universe. And of course, when Jesus said, know that ye are gods, a little lower than the angels. So this is really our true self-image. And I taught self-image psychology at the university level as an elective course for many, many years. And when I came into Science of Mind, it just absolutely dovetailed that we know, and there's a humility. People say, well, you know, it kind of sounds arrogant. No, it doesn't. There is a fine line between confidence, you know, if we're confident and we have humility, that's not conceit. There's a difference between, you know, feeling that we're creating it all, we're co-creating it all. And when we realize there's a humility where I stand in awe at the wonders of life, and that when I need to step out on faith, I'm absolutely knowing that a bridge appears. And it only appears what? When I take action, action with intention, right? Action with intention, faith with works. And we're told that faith without works is dead. We can talk a good game. This is the easiest thing in the world for people to talk about. But to put the works with the faith, to step out on faith, and to know this day in whom we live and move and have our being. And that we have the opportunity to go to the next level. Many of us, during this very interesting time on the planet, are stepping out on this faith. And we have to let go of the past. And the past, the only true thing about the past, according to the Course of Miracles, is that it is not here. It is not here. We let go of the past and we keep our forward view, but live in the present moment. The point of power is always in the present moment. Always. I love the little story about the two monks, and they were on their way to a wonderful retreat. And they were walking through the forest, and they saw at the edge of this river a maiden in distress trying to get across the river. And so the one, they had taken a vow, of course, of celibacy and not really mingling with the opposite sex. But the one monk, he saw an opportunity to be of service. He just swooped her up in his arms. He carried her over the river and put her down, and they began walking to their retreat, an ashram. And his fellow monk, his friend, he said, we took a vow that we would not, intermingle with the opposite sex, and you carried her over the river. And he kept on about, this vow that they took and carried over the river. And finally, his brother monk just turned to him and said, brother, I put her down at the edge of the river. You're still carrying her. Think about it. So whatever we carry with us and we obsess about, that is the energy that no longer serves. Put it down at the river. Go thy way in peace. Absolutely dust off your shoes. Go thy way in peace. And as we come together on this day, I want us to really look at going to that next level and what that takes and the opportunity that we have in doing that. And we had a very interesting experience. I had someone who contacted me. She got our email through Google because she was attempting to write out a prayer request on our website. And the box was missing. Well, there's a gentleman here in this Desert Crest Country Club who creates websites, and he looked at our website, and it was pretty outdated. He said, we can renew your website, we can rehab it and bring it up to the 21st century. And I said, oh, that is so kind of you. And he was gifting it. And when they were coming back, I was looking at it and I said, this isn't who we are. This isn't working. I don't really care for the design, and it isn't us, and it doesn't really establish who we are. So he went back to his guys, and his workers were working from Pakistan. And, he'd been working with them for years. And he said, this isn't serving. It's not what Dr. Sharron requested. And they said, how dare a woman think she's a minister? This is the little fellows from Pakistan. He said, what does it matter who I do business with? It's none of your business. Your business is to get the job done, not to judge who I do business with. Well, I felt, I did kind of a little prayer, and I thought about Malala, the youngest person, 17 years old, who won the Nobel Peace Prize, and I had an opportunity to interview her. And one of the things she said when she was, 16 years old, shot in the head by the Taliban because she wanted an education. This is in Pakistan. And so she said when they wheeled her in on the gurney, she made a declaration. If I live through this, I will be the first female prime minister of Pakistan, and made this declaration. Now here she is in Oslo, Norway. She's won the Nobel Peace Prize at 17 years old. Pretty phenomenal, right? So I shared this story with my friend here in the park, and thanked him. And I said, well, this level of energy is concerning me because I don't want anyone, even in the energy field of our website, that has those kinds of feelings. He said, no, I am the owner of this company, and I say what goes, and I will oversee everything. And it came back looking beautiful. And I was very, very pleased with it. But it seemed that on the prayer request, they had missed putting a box with contact information. And this one young woman named Sarah, I will not share her last name for her, respecting her privacy, but she wrote and said she was attempting to do a prayer request and it was not going through. And so I talked to Julian, who is also not only our wonderful videographer for our Sunday messages, but also he does our web management and does this all as a gift. And is a wonderful volunteer. So he went deep inside the website, and we discovered that over almost 300 emails to our website went to the Pakistani website, Azure something or other. And so this young woman, Sarah, who contacted us and was going to get that prayer request in no matter what. If I have to Google your email, if I can't get it through the website, I'm going to get it one way or the other. And I wrote to her and I said, we're referring to you as our interfaith angel. And I told her the whole sequence of events, that had there been a prayer box there, you would have filled it out. It would have gone to the Pakistani email address, and we almost 300 emails addressed to us that we never received. So if you have ever contacted us and we did not respond, I deeply apologize. We had no idea that this had happened, but we know that nothing happens by chance. And had she not persevered, we would not know to this day. I was sharing with Julian that, I've been so involved with our social media and all the prayer requests that come through, but I have noticed that there's been a decline in the prayer requests through the website, and I actually retained a company to get us more visible, in the opportunity for the greater, and I did this almost a year ago. So though the website was getting more attention, it was going to a completely different email address. So what I want us all to know is that we have angels along the way, and that our angels show up in the most amazing ways, unusual ways, and to have someone persevere so much that she wanted to get this prayer request to me and to our ministry of prayer so that we could discover this error. And when I brought it to my friend's attention, of course, he deeply apologized. And I said, and what was so amazing is they never told us, they never disclosed that our emails were going to their address. And I said, I'm going to let it go, but I want you to know that if you have people working for you that take exception on who you do business with, you need to think again, because it does not reflect well on you. And certainly it has not reflected well on us with people who have put out prayer requests and think, gosh, I didn't get an answer. So I'm just putting it out there that it is resolved, and it is resolved in such a way where I'm sending loving energy to Pakistan, because I've met with Malala, the difference that she is making as a Nobel Peace Prize recipient, and the opportunity to know that everyone is worthy of an education, even if they are women in Pakistan. So I acknowledge each of us that when we step out on faith, that all kinds of things may come up, and that we have the opportunity, and I want you to know that I didn't at first go within and just really think, oh, I've got to bless these guys. I was, pretty pissed off about it, if you want to know the truth. Then I went within. And after going within, realizing that stuff happens. And if we move our energy over and we acknowledge that we make a shift, and that when we make a shift, we can take it to a higher level and know that wherever ignorance seems to be operating anywhere on the planet, the presence of God is. Wherever judgment seems to be operating anywhere on the planet, the presence of God is. Wherever criticism seems to be operating anywhere on the planet, the presence of God is. And this is known as an argumentative treatment, where you bring up what you don't relate to and what may be showing up, and acknowledge the presence of God is right there. God is the center of everything, the circumference of nothing, of no thing. God is everywhere present. So as we have these things that come up, and I know some of you have suffered and are going through your own emotional experiences, we want you to know that there is such a love surrounding you, and there is such a power that's surrounding you, and allowing you to absorb your experience. And as we absorb each experience, what happens? Our heart expands. And we have compassion, don't we? At such a deep level. So we care. We love you. Your prayer requests matter to us. And I always invite you to write your prayer requests at every Wednesday night live Spirit, Mind, and Body Connection, and on Sunday as well, if you have a prayer request. We have a marvelous miracle-working ministry of prayer. And that as we allow ourselves to know the truth does set us free, because we step out on faith and a bridge appears. Action with intention. Faith with works. A bridge appears. And as we remember the everlasting covenant between all living things, what are we told? A rainbow appears. I will remember an everlasting covenant between me and all living things. And when I feel that energy, a rainbow appears. So on this amazing day in January, the year of our Lord 2021, we know on many levels we've only just begun. And as we acknowledge that, as we open to that, that's when a bridge appears and takes us to the other side, to that place of peace, serenity, calm, knowingness, the opportunity that we have to be the message. I love when Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world. Be the change you want to see in the world. And as we become that change, what happens? Others make the shift within our energy field and are healed and uplifted in our presence. And that absolutely makes all the difference. So remember, when we come to the end of our light in all our knowing, we must know that one of two things will happen. That solid ground will suddenly appear and something to step out on. or we will be taught to fly. And he pushed them, and they flew. And so on this day, I want you to know that we're all on this path together, and that we're all going somewhere. And do you know where that is? Higher yet. Where is it? Higher yet. Where is it? Higher yet. Because we are in a high place, and we will not come down. None of these outer things move me. I am in a high place, and I will not come down. I say namaste. The God in me salutes the God in you, and the God in you salutes the God in me. And if I am in that place in me, and you are in that place in you, there is only one of us. Namaste. And I say to you, shalom, the peace that passes all understanding. And God bless us, everyone. So